Hey everyone, quick announcement for you. We are making trade shows great again. That's right. At MD&M West, I get to be one of the hosts of News and Brews. It's an interview special where we're going to be talking to the people and the companies that are at the trade show. We're going to be talking design, manufacturing, everything above and beyond. We're going to have a ton of fun, and I hope that you come by, take a look, and see what we're doing. If you haven't registered for MD&M West yet, great news. We have a special link in the description below. It's only for our followers. Go, click today. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Take care.
It was a bet. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Manufacturing Alliance podcast. As always, I'm your host, Tony DeMakis with Alliance Specialties and Alliance Laser Sales. And this is our show. We've been gone for a little while. This is a new space that we have. New space, new guests, new topics, new things. It's going to be a lot of fun. Couple things of note before we get started. This is a live show. So if it's not good, I'm sorry. We're not going to edit it and try to make it better. It's just what it is. But the benefit of that is that you get to be part of the conversation. So if there's questions that you want to ask, there's things that you want to know, there's topics you want us to dive into more, go ahead and put that in the chat, and we will definitely get to that. The other thing is free advertising, right? All you have to do is comment, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube or wherever that is. Comment with who you are and what your business is, and we will give you a shout out because we want to say thank you for listening and watching and being part of what we do. As always, we want to keep you guys informed on all the stuff that we're doing. So go ahead, and I hate when they say this, it sounds so stupid. Ring that notification bell and subscribe and do all those things.
Got to do it.
Yeah, like the video, share the video. Justine Ewald from TMA and I have shot 2 episodes now of Make Manufacturing Great Again. It's a lot of fun. And I can't wait for you guys to see what that's going to look like. Basically, the idea is we go out to a business in the manufacturing space and we learn all about who they are, what they do, why they do it. And then they put us to the test to see who's going to be the better employee. And it's a lot of fun.
Awesome.
You listen, Jack did the first episode. He's editing it. And if you want to see me look like a fool, you're going to want to watch this because he does a good job of doing all that. So please do all those things. Ring the bell, watch us, follow us, all that good stuff. If you are in the market for a laser welding or a laser engraving machine and you're wondering, where should I go and why should I go there? Listen, there's a lot of good products on the market. I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody, but the difference that we can make is that we care and we want to make a difference, right? So every laser welding or laser engraving machine that we make and we sell, a portion of those proceeds are going to go to help end human trafficking through the Tim Tebow Foundation. We're really excited about being able to do all that. And we would like you to be part of that journey with us. So if you're looking for some equipment, we would love to talk to you and see what that would look like. Anything from mold repair to production welding and really everything in between. It's fun for us to be able to make these things. It's all American made products made here in Prairie Grove, Illinois, because I mean, to be honest, we believe American made matters.
Amen.
That's what we're doing here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the Manufacturing Alliance is all about American manufacturing.
Love it.
It matters. It makes a difference. American made should mean something, and it does mean something. We can dive into some of that as well. And the last thing I'll say is, if you're going to come out to MD&M West, I would love to see you there. I just found out a little while ago that I get to be one of the hosts of News and Brews, which is what that little promo piece was about. News and Brews is a daily show that's taking place on the floor at MD&M West, where we are going to talk to industry insiders and people that are doing all the things that we all want to know about, whether it's sustainability or manufacturing or design, packaging, you name it. We're going to be having conversations and digging into those topics, 3D printing, mold making, machining, whatever that looks like. So come on down, see what we're doing, be part of the conversation. It's going to be a lot like this, where it's live, open forum discussions. We want to have those conversations with you, not just by ourselves, because that's really, really boring. And we're gonna have some games going out throughout the week. I found out, and that's gonna be fun and exciting. And so, if you are planning on coming out to MDNM West and you don't want to go home right away, there is an MR Mold golf outing on Friday. They are still looking for sponsors, and they are still filling up tee times. It is all the proceeds are going to benefit our friends at iWarriors. iWarriors is an awesome organization that provides iPads for combat wounded veterans to help with PTSD and keeping people, connected with their families, and just really allowing them to know that they're not forgotten, and that we care about the sacrifices and the things that they've done. So, that's like my life in a nutshell. If you're going to go to MDNM West, make sure you don't pay for it, because that's silly. Use the coupon code FREE20. It's just for the listeners of our show. And so if you just put that in at checkout time, you will get free entry to the show, as well as 20% off on the conferences that are taking place during that time. So that's what we got going on. Now, on to the show. I get to talk to my friend Rich. Like, we've been talking about doing this show for what, 2 years?
Yeah, at least 2 years.
At least 2 years.
And I'm glad you did that whole little diatribe there, because the minute you go live and see yourself on the screen, my palms are sweating. Like, we've been talking for 2 hours now.
Yeah.
And it's perfectly normal, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But you turn the camera on and everything changes, right?
It's so weird when you put a camera on and people forget how to talk.
Yeah. I just realized my normal face is like a frown. Like,
do you have
that's what I'm looking at.
You got resting bitch face and you didn't even know it?
I didn't know it until now, because I'm staring at myself on a big screen right behind the camera.
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm smiling, like a massive smile. Like, yeah, this is awesome.
Just big, deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to be okay. It's going to be good. We've known each other long enough where, and there's nobody that's going to pay attention to us. So it's fine. It's just us having a conversation like we were before.
It's like your wife is watching, my wife is watching.
That's it.
I'm sure my parents are watching.
That's it.
That's about
If they are,
right?
They should say hello.
Yeah, they probably will. Let's not get that one started.
Yeah.
Block my mom.
Let's tell some stories,
block her
huh?
from messaging. Yeah.
But yeah, we've been talking about doing this for years.
Mm-hmm.
And for different reasons that we can get into. There were times where you didn't feel comfortable in coming on and telling your story until you were ready.
Yeah, sure.
And then it was like, this is a good time.
Yeah,
let's dig in. So, I mean, who's Rich? Like, let's get to know Rich.
Who is Rich? Rich is a guy who loves American manufacturing.
Amen.
Loves machine shops, tool and die shops, mold shops. I actually came up in this industry. So my dad, I was born in Buffalo, New York. My dad was a service provider. He actually made cutting tools like I do.
Okay.
But it was shortly. The majority of his career was spent serving cutting tool companies with thin film coatings, PVD coatings. So I came up in the industry. And then post high school, got into it myself.
Okay.
And just kind of been doing different things in the industry for the last 25 years and enjoying the heck out of it. Been super blessed by it. My family, myself have been very blessed by this industry. And it's one of those careers where every day it can be something new. It's something exciting. You're seeing different things. The industry has come so far in the last 25 years that it's a fun thing. It's exciting to go to work every day.
So you've always worked inside the manufacturing space?
Yeah. Right since, so I actually, right out of high school, I started working for Armin Industries.
Okay.
So I was in the apprenticeship program. That was pretty short-lived.
Yeah.
For me, but that's where I started.
With the Stoll family.
With the Stoll family. Yeah. Yep. So I went to high school with Tim.
Okay.
And
Timothy.
I went to high school with Timothy and knew the Stolls well, and that was my in to Armin. But even before that, I guess I worked for my dad in high school during sports, and in the summers I worked for my dad running a little blast cabinet, doing a lot of blasting and fixturing and stuff like that. So it's amazing. Like, I remember early in the career, it's amazing how much you glean from coming up in a family that is doing the same thing that you end up doing, right?
Sure.
Just the conversations around the dinner table, like we were talking at lunch.
Yeah.
With you having conversations with Jack and being on phone calls with him here. It's amazing what you glean and how much that gives you that little step up when you're starting in the industry. you're familiar with fractions, you're familiar with decimals and tool types and names and materials, and it's just a natural part of conversation. We had a little engine lathe in our garage growing up, so I was turning stupid stuff in the garage and helping my dad do stuff. So it's just weird how you naturally have a flow into that industry, you know.
So your dad, did he had his own company?
Later in his career, he did. Yeah.
Okay.
And I worked for him for about 3 years when he had his own company. And we were doing PVD coatings. That was like the early 2000s.
Okay.
And so I learned a ton from my dad. Like, obviously one of the driving factors of me coming into the industry and how I've learned and done stuff. And it's, you know, that foundation of your career, right? I'm sure you coming up in this industry, being around it and hearing with your dad, you just had that little foundation that got you started when you came back here 7 years ago that you can jump on and lean into, right? So I worked with my dad with his company for about 3 or 4 years. And then when he sold it to a massive company, that just wasn't for me. That's just not my jam. I'm more of a small business guy. That's what I enjoy. I don't enjoy reports for the sake of reports and do this because and stuff like that. And in small business, your efforts daily, you see it in the bottom line of the company. Like the things you're doing, the effort you're putting in when you're in a company that's less than 100 employees, you get to see the outworking of it. So
yeah,
I've always enjoyed that, right? And I'd rather work 13 hours a day, 14 hours a day doing that than 8 at a company where I'm a badge number.
I remember my first real job out of school, I worked for Ticketmaster.
Okay.
And so, you know, you don't get much more corporate monster than Ticketmaster, right? I mean, so much so that Pearl Jam fought with them. Like everybody knows Ticketmaster. Everybody hates Ticketmaster, right? Like there's nobody that thinks that, you know, unless you work there. There's nobody that thinks like this is the best company ever. I love what they supply. Everybody thinks that they're unfair and everything else. And I mean, that was the first job I had. That was my job. That was my first career job out of college working for somebody else. And I realized right away that I don't like big corporate America. I don't like what it stands for. I don't like the way that they treat people. I don't like being a cog on the wheel. And I will never forget. It might have been like the first year. I mean, I guess I forget the timing, but I don't forget the story. We were told that your raises are not merit-based. Everybody in the company gets a 3% raise. Just blanket. That's what it is. And you should be happy with that. Right. And I was walking past the general manager's office and I heard him say, keep the raises low and the bonuses high, because the C-level got the bonuses and the regular people got the raises. And I just thought, well, that's some bull. You know, you got all these people that are already making all the money. Right. And then you're going to dump on the people that are doing the work. And that was the last time I had a corporate job. That was the last time I had any interest in a corporate job. I remember when 9/11 happened, like everybody in Chicago was freaked out because we thought New York is first. Then what? Right. And we worked close to one of the federal buildings, and we were working on a project for, I think it was Harley Davidson at Ticketmaster. They're trying to do some event. And we watched the plane crashes. We watched all that happen. Everybody's kind of freaking out and everybody's thinking, how do we get out of the city? Right. Like, because we don't know what's next. And the general manager came in and he said, before you leave, I need this thing finished. We got to submit this. And I was like, are you out of your mind? Like, this is our concern. Make sure Harley gets this document. Like, I'm out of here, man. I'm blowing this popsicle stand. And all those kind of things are like reasons why I like being a small family business.
For sure.
Is it easy? No. But we get to control the story and the narrative and how we treat people and what that looks like. And it's really, really cool. Matthew Grassel is with us. Matthew, how are you? He laughed at something we said. I don't remember exactly what that was, but hey, I'm glad we made you giggle a little bit. And Scott Venema, do you know Scott?
Mm-hmm.
Scott says, born into cutting tools, can relate to those conversations too.
Yep.
Every family get together was like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. A lot of family in the industry. My brother's in plastics. I know
Where's he at?
he's over at Global Packaging Development. I think I passed him on to you for some engraving or something like that. So my brother's in plastics. My dad was in mostly coatings. My uncles are in coatings, and then just spreads out from there. So yeah, definitely born into it. Keep doing it, but also love it, enjoy it. It's not like, oh, my dad did it, so I have to do it. It's
Right.
not, that's not it at all. Like,
Right.
I feel like, well, obviously our fathers are proud that we're doing this stuff, but I feel like I'm excited every day to go to work. I'm excited to get into the projects and talk to the customers and solve problems. And just even this year at the IMTS, I thought the IMTS was phenomenal.
IMTS was a great show. Yeah, they did a fantastic job.
I only spent a couple days down there. I could barely walk after a couple days. And that's probably because I'm out of shape. But
you look good though.
Oh, dude.
No, this is bad again.
I'm mostly a desk jockey now.
I know, but I feel like you lost some weight.
No, I just wore the shirt that makes me look the thinnest. Yeah.
Good on you.
Good
on you.
But yeah, the IMTS was phenomenal. I just thought I know I posted stuff on social media about it, but so many kids out there. Tons of high schooler, college age kids. I had some great conversations with some of the younger guys working at booths, and man, it's just encouraging to see that. I've been going to IMTSs since I was a kid. I remember my dad taking me there, even when he had his business and I was 18, 19 years old working for him, going down there in a shirt and a tie. But I was by far the youngest guy there.
Yes.
Like always. So now it's awesome to see all the younger guys getting into it. I have a nephew now who's at Hampshire doing the welding program.
Okay.
The industrial program that D300's put on. It's awesome to see. He's come over a couple times and we've talked measurements and doing stuff, and he's excited, and that's awesome. Like he's already learning it as a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
That's what our industry needs.
I think it's really cool that like that next generation is actually caring how things are made instead of like they just always exist. You know, like one of I think that was the coolest thing for me growing up is that whether it was Star Wars stuff that my dad had the opportunity to work on, or like a Jiffy lid or whatever that looks like, right? I had an idea on how things were created and made that they didn't just exist, right? Like it's just not magic that it's just here, right? Somebody has to put in the work, the effort, the design, the labor for all the things that we have.
Absolutely.
And I think that I had that growing up. And I think what's cool is like all these kids now that are learning 3D printing and all of these things.
Huge. And have access to cheaper, free 3D softwares and stuff like that. Like it's a different industry now. And the more that kids see that working in manufacturing isn't digging a coal mine or hammering studs on a train line or something, like manufacturing was just this vague thing out in space. The more that we get them to see that, hey, you're working on a $500,000 machine with 3D graphics and robotics and all that stuff, it's just gonna tenfold the amount of good workers that we put into the space.
And when you see something, you're like, why did they make it this way? Right. You can be a part of making that different.
Oh yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
I think
absolutely
like the maker spaces and the maker box and the all the 3D printers, there's such an opportunity for kids, teenagers, whatever age you want to say like, hey, mom, dad, I want to make this thing. How do I do that? Right. And then there's software for you to be able to make these things like, little trinket things are so cool. Like the little lizard that are 3D printed and they got all the joints and all, like kids love those things.
Oh yeah.
And it's showing them the process of design and manufacturing, what that looks like.
Yep. Yeah. It's awesome. It's amazing. Those things that you can buy them at Best Buy now. Go to Best Buy and buy a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Free software and go and hammer away.
Because the point of entry used to be really high, but like everything else, it just keeps coming down the more that people are interested in it and the more that people are doing it. So So you had your start. Your
Mhm.
dad was in manufacturing. You were always around manufacturing. Side note, I feel like we should start a support group for people that worked with their fathers
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
companies,
absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
there's so many stories that people don't
Oh, yeah.
understand,
Yep.
and the stresses of that.
Mhm.
It's beautiful at times, but it's also a nightmare at
Mhm.
times. It's like the best of times, the worst of times.
Yeah. I wouldn't be where I was without his impact on my
Yes.
career, but there's always stressful times when you're
Yes.
working with family, regardless of the relationship, mom,
Yeah.
dad, brother, sister, whatever it is. It's always stressful working with
And,
family.
and people say, like, do you really have to discuss that at the dinner table? Well, yeah. I mean, you talk
Yeah.
about every other job at the dinner table.
Yeah,
Why not this
absolutely.
one?
Yeah.
Just because we're all tied into it together.
Mhm.
So that's a whole different thing, right? I think there really could be a support group. I think we would keep the therapy and the
Mhm.
counselors in
But hold
in
on,
business.
hold on.
Yeah.
Here's the great part. My dad's retired now,
Yes.
enjoying life with my mom out in Del Webb. He comes and works for me part-time now.
There you go.
So now I get to crack the whip. Dad,
Dude,
if you're listening.
do you do the
Yeah.
same thing then?
No.
Like, hey,
No,
it's a 15-minute break. What are you
go,
doing?
Let's go. No, not at all. No, we enjoy it when he's around the office. We enjoy it, and you get to bounce stuff off a guy who had 45, 50 years in the industry. So I'm sure it's like when your dad's around, or when you guys are around the dinner table now, you can still talk shop a little bit.
We can. I mean, sometimes it becomes a little bit stressful because he remembers what it was like coming up
Mhm.
and how different things are now.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
We experienced this last year, right? Anybody
Yep.
in manufacturing recognizes that this last year was really, really interesting.
Very strange. Yeah.
Between the unknown of the election, between the unknown of the economy,
Mhm.
whatever you want to attribute it to.
Yep.
It wasn't a lack of effort.
Yep.
Right. And so I think, he equates success to just hard work,
Mhm.
which I can respect.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with that to
Yep.
a certain extent,
Yep.
but there are other circumstances
Other
in
factors
the world,
that-
other
yeah.
factors that are taking place. And he'll come in, and I love him, but he'll go, "What are you doing? There's no work over there.
Mhm.
Why is there no work over there?"
Mhm. And then you're sitting here podcasting.
Yeah, I'm sitting here
Right?
podcasting.
Different. Yeah,
So
it's a different way of.
So if you have some polishing work that you need done, I will be happy to get you a quote to get that done.
Do it.
Because as we all know, things slow down.
Yeah, big time.
And so it was hard to have that conversation with him
Mhm.
because he knows what he knows, right?
Yeah, right.
He knows that you need work. You should be going to see that guy. You should take them to lunch. You should go play
Mhm.
golf. You should take him to dinner. You should do all those things. And I don't know what you've seen, but I feel like the times in the industry have shifted away from the whining and dining,
Yep.
schmoozing, going to lunch, going to
Mhm.
dinner, golfing kind of thing, where people want to go to work. They want you to give them a good, honest product,
Yep.
and they want to go home.
Yeah. No, 100%. I've seen that, and that's really what my present company is more based around. If you need assistance, you want to hang out, great. If not, we'll get you your product. We'll do what we need to do. But yeah, it's definitely. I remember even back at Armin, I remember hearing stories of Art Stoll, his grandfather, and how when things were slow, he would go out on sales calls, and he'd be sketching out just mold bases and whatnot, and calling the shop to say, order this, order this, order this. We'll have an order tomorrow. That type of mentality, and I'm sure that's kind of like that mentality that our parents had.
Yeah.
Like that, where it was just a different thing. You run out, you go talk to the people you need to talk to, get the order, and go.
That's it.
Go. Work harder.
That's it.
Yep.
And he would tell me, he's like, we would go out. There were mold shops on every block. We would go out with the truck. We would load up all the molds. We would take them back to the shop. The next day, I would go back to those same places and drop off the stuff that we already had, and we would just keep getting it. It was always going.
Yep.
And so his answer is always like, "Why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, get out and go see people.
Yep.
Take them to lunch. Go do this thing."
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you're listening and you think I'm wrong, please correct me. Tell us in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you finding that people enjoy these lunches and these outings and these dinners, or do they just want you to do what you say you're going to do and give them their product? Now, I'm not saying I don't think relationships are important. I think
No,
relationships
clearly
are
you definitely.
extremely important. I mean, it's part of our core values. It's part of who we are. But I think the relationship has shifted a little bit to,
Well, I think it's you used to do that with almost all customers,
yeah,
and now you're doing it with maybe long-term customers or customers that you're close with or have become friends with through business. I think I've just seen a shift in it where you're not doing it to acquire business necessarily. Like that used to be the thing, is the golfing, the dinners, the wine and dine, when you were chasing work. And I don't see that as much anymore.
yeah,
Now the relationships are built on the work that you've done.
right.
So a little bit different of a shift. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, all that's how he comes in and he asks those questions, and I'll tell him like, Dad, we're out there, like we're doing the stuff. Michelle's doing a fantastic job. She's going to see people. It's just the industry has shifted a little bit, and I think that's just work in general. There's not as many of those opportunities to go, take people to Blackhawks games or whatever, because people don't want to go with you. They want to go with their kids.
Yep.
And
100%.
maybe you.
Yeah.
But they want to go with their kids.
Yeah.
And so that's a totally different that's a totally different animal when that comes. So yeah, I mean, what did you notice this last year in your business?
Well, yeah, this last year was a very interesting year. The year started out great. When we got towards the end of Q2 through Q3, it dried up. Like work dried up.
Yeah.
Where people were buying 10 of X a month, then they're buying 1 or 2 or none, just working off inventory. And it was, from my perspective, and we only sell right now in the US, it was a massive slowdown due to the election. And that's, talk to customers, they're talking to their customers. And at that level, it's normally big guys like the GMs, the Boeings, the whoever, right? That things are just in a holding pattern, literally in a holding pattern, and it's all waiting for the election. And I don't know how much, I mean, obviously the election has a role to play in the economics of our country.
Sure.
But at the end of the day,
you're still going to need to stop.
Still going to need to make the car. So stopping isn't, but again, much smarter people than me, make those decisions, I think. But yeah, definitely a slowdown. So again, SES deals with a lot of small to mid-size machine shops, tool and die shops, mold shops, fab shops, stuff like that. So we saw a good slowdown in those areas.
And so how's this year going?
But
yeah,
the week after the election,
it
was hog wild. It went hog wild until Christmas, which was great, phenomenal, right? So, and then the holidays slow, but the last couple of weeks have been wonderful, phenomenal.
That's good.
A lot of stuff going on, a lot of projects, a lot of things even that are looking, 2 to 4 months down the road for us. That's a big jump where like people weren't doing that last June, last July, right? So I'm excited about that. That's good stuff where you have stuff in the pipeline. The pipeline's starting to fill up again. We're shipping what we have. We're working on the next project. That's encouraging.
It's encouraging for me because we're on like the polishing side of our business is on the back end of all of those projects, right? So like if you got busy December, that means that we're going to get busier February, March, right? Because people are buying the cutting tools
to manufacture
the stuff. Then they're going to need the polishing and the finishing side of everything done. So, I would always look to the people like Progressive or like you, like Paul Britton at International Mold Steel, like the people on the beginning end of the projects. What is your season like right now? Because whatever your season is like right now sets the tone for my season 2 months down the line. So like if you had a slow 2024 from, what did you say, like October? No, September,
Q3, really.
September, October through the election, it makes perfect sense why we are slow right now.
Yep. Perfect.
I hate it, but
it's horrible.
It makes sense.
It doesn't feel good, right? Like
no
matter whether you have a reasoning or not, it doesn't feel good.
No,
it never. You question everything,
and that also says like, okay, you were slow, which means we are going to be slow. So no amount of golf or lunch or
Yeah,
dinner
right,
is
right,
going to make
right.
that go any
No,
faster
no.
right now. It's
No, but you'll smile more.
yeah,
Right. Uh-huh. So go for it.
yeah.
Go get her
It's
done.
it's good in that regard.
Mhm,
But it's just interesting how how we're all intertwined
mhm. Oh, big time. Yeah,
in this system of manufacturing.
big time. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's the great machine, man. It's the great American manufacturing machine.
You can't
It's
do it in
phenomenal.
isolation
No,
at all.
not at all. Not at all.
We have a Jacob Guge
Jacob Googie.
Googie. I could have tried to say that, but I would have got it wrong.
You would have.
Yeah, he said
I'm ready for this
you
one.
didn't or don't support corporate America. That's iffy. I mean, well, I'm gonna have to Jordan Peterson that one and break all that down. Would you be opposed to scaling your business to that monster, quote unquote, monster level, or would you always prefer to be as concise as possible to have control over every aspect? Hypothetical example: if extremely quickly your business started your business started growing to extreme scale, would you try to avoid that growth or accept it? Would you be okay if the large corporation was yourself? What do you think?
It's a good question.
It is. It is.
It's interesting.
I'm glad
So
he asked. Thanks for watching and listening with us.
Jacob is my nephew,
Okay.
who I'm pretty close with.
Yeah.
Love the kid. And he started a business, Jacob, 2 years ago, roughly. Tiny Donuts.
Okay.
And I don't know.
He's the director of operations at Tiny Donuts.
Okay, done. Yeah. And it is a franchise model.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that it has to do with his business.
Yeah.
But no, I do it differently than what you see in corporate America today.
Yes.
I would do it differently. It would be a hands-on approach. It wouldn't be the gold pillars and whatnot. It would still have a personalized approach to the business. Right?
Yes.
And so corporate America, right? Small business makes up 80% of the businesses in the U.S.
We can throw out a number. Nobody's going to fact check us.
Yep.
And if you do,
I made that up.
Awesome. I would like the knowledge.
Okay, well, let's start here. What is small business? You can Google that today.
Sure.
And you can have 14 different answers.
Yeah.
And some say it's 500 employees. Some say it's 100 employees. Some say it's 15. I think the SBA says 1,500 employees. Whatever.
That's a pretty big business to me. If we get to
That's a huge
1,500,
business.
I'm going to call that corporate America.
Yeah. That's corporate America.
Yes.
But
yes.
But I would approach the business differently.
Sure.
So, it wouldn't be an arbitrary thing. It would be a narrow business, a wide and narrow business. It wouldn't be level of managers and supervisors.
Yep.
And where things, when they're disseminating through levels, gets lost in translation, right? And so you walk by a Ticketmaster and heard keep the bonuses
high and the raises low.
Yeah. That would be an immediate firing offense, right?
100%.
That's like unacceptable. And that's because that was some desk jockey district manager at the Chicago.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the things that you have to try and force out of your business. And keep it personal. Keep it. Not that you don't have an employee handbook that you have rules and things that people need to do. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that you have to have an approach that you care, right?
Yes.
That you,
yes.
The business supports X amount of employees, supports your vendors. Like it's a cog in a big wheel,
right?
Of American manufacturing or retail,
whatever it happens to be. I think that corporate America was ruined for me in that moment with Ticketmaster.
Mm-hmm.
I also worked for small business that I feel like was run like corporate America. Like when I say corporate America, what I'm talking about more is worrying more about the corporation and the shareholders than the people within your company and your customers.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. And I would agree with you. That's how I'm envisioning it.
Yeah.
In my head too.
So like I worked for a small company that their focus was the ownership and the bottom line.
Mhm.
And I understand that. Like, you're in business, you need to make money, right?
Yep,
It's the
100%.
profit is not a dirty word.
Nope.
And it's the way that you stay in business, and it's the way that you grow, and the way that you do all those things. And so I get that, right? I'm not saying it's a dirty word, but I think that our role and responsibility is to care for people and for um, what we're trying to grow and do, right?
Yeah. And I think that different people have. I love making a profit.
Yeah,
Profit is
totally.
phenomenal.
Totally.
It's the scorecard, right?
Yes.
But it's how we score.
Right.
That is the question. If
Right.
we're scoring by not taking care of them on employees from a benefit perspective or a
Yeah.
pay perspective, or half-assing the work that we're
Totally.
doing, any of that is not okay.
Right.
Right. And so, but no, I want to make money. I love making money.
Yeah.
I love winning a customer over. I
Yes.
love being able to provide for my family, for employees. I love sending purchase orders to vendors.
Yeah.
All of it. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But what I don't love is not taking care of the people that are helping you achieve those things, which is the
100%.
bottom line.
100%.
So,
And I mean, Jacob, I think it's a fantastic question. And I'm glad that you asked, because it makes me think through it a little bit more, right? People ask, I know people, you know, people that have sold businesses to bigger companies, bigger corporations.
I did.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did, right? And we can talk about that a little bit. People ask me, like, would you, if the offer came in, would you sell? And right now I say no. I mean,
Yeah.
for a number of reasons.
Mhm.
One of them is, I don't think anybody's going to pay me enough money to not have to work again. That's just a reality. And I don't think that I work well for people based on my personality and who I am. I know me. And the other part of it is I take a lot of pride in what we do here and who we are as a company, what our brand means. The fact that my father started it, and the core values are built on him and his personality and his responsibilities and all that stuff. And I can't get behind the idea of somebody else coming in and changing that world around me. And I've heard horror stories.
Yeah, I didn't live a horror story when I sold, but it is a difficult process to wade through. So no, totally. And I mean, you walk around your facility here, especially this one, we're in Prairie Grove.
Yeah.
But the address is Crystal Lake, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Why do you
weird
call
thing.
it Prairie Grove then?
Because we're technically cross
You
Prairie
said that,
Grove.
but then I'm looking at the maps today and I'm like,
yeah, you look at the maps and it says Prairie Grove, but I think it has a Crystal Lake zip code or address. So, but you were saying
you walk through this place. It's gorgeous. You have a phenomenal facility here. And I've been to your other one, which is beautiful as well. But when you think about the hard work that went in for years and years and years from your dad and his partners, it's hard to separate your family from it, right?
Sure.
It's difficult, but yeah, beautiful. You have a gorgeous facility.
Oh, thank you.
Building American-made equipment right here in Prairie Grove.
Crystal Lake. We'll call it Chicagoland if you're not in Illinois, because nobody's ever going to know the difference either way. So when you had Taurus, how long had you had that company before you guys sold?
Yeah. So I went to work for Taurus in 2011. I was the plant manager. I think I was 29 at the time, with the understanding that me and two other guys were going to attempt to buy the business.
Okay.
And it became a very difficult process to navigate. In that, the three of us were running the business day in and day out. The owner was mostly absentee.
Okay.
And now we're negotiating with the person that's paying our bills. And as we're like really hustling to grow the business and do better things, the price tag went up.
Right. And then you're thinking,
so we're doing it. We think we're gaining instant equity, because we've already put a number on the table.
Yes.
And it's just about how do we finance that number.
Sure.
And the number keeps going up.
Right. Because you're growing, you're doing hard work, you're building the brand, you're giving it its credibility and its reputation, and increasing sales and doing all those things. And the EBITDA is continuing to
100%.
And you're going, This is going to be magical for
This is
us.
gonna be great. This is gonna be phenomenal. And it wasn't. It was a hellish couple of years of trying to put a deal together that just wasn't coming to fruition. And so at a certain point we had to kind of
Yeah.
say, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Because you're growing anxious. Now you're not putting your
Sure.
full heart into your job.
Yep.
You're negotiating with a guy that is paying your bills, and we enjoyed what we were doing. And so at the time we all bought in. We all owned a very small percentage of Taurus.
Okay.
And we worked out a deal. It was a longer term plan that based on our EBITDA, we would get a bonus at the end of the year that would buy shares. So we would kind of acquire the business over some amount of time. I can't remember. I think that was like 2012, 2013. And that all changed in June of 2014 when we burnt to the ground.
Oh,
like lost everything. So got a phone call one morning. I was going in later because I had a new employee starting on second shift. So I was going to go in a little bit later, do some training, get them set up. And got a phone call that the building was burning to the ground. You could watch it on all the news. Second largest fire in Cook County, commercial fire in Cook County. And we pretty much lost everything.
Okay.
And at that point, well, that was a really rough year or two in relocating the business, buying all new equipment, working with insurance companies and attorneys. And
well, they're a lot of fun.
Oh no, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome, man. I'll give you one quick story. We had, I think we had bought our building or leased our building in Batavia at the time. And we were starting to bring in equipment and electricians and everything. And the attorneys, insurance people wanted to go back and watch. We had video cameras at the facility and watch the videos with all the people they were trying to subrogate to. So the machine manufacturer the machine that started the fire, the manufacturer of that, the coolant company, the grinding oil company, anybody who they were trying
potentially
to
fault.
Push fault on. They wanted to go watch this video. We had one little standalone 5,000 square foot building next to our main manufacturing plant, which that didn't burn down. It just had smoke damage. So we all pack into this tiny conference room. There's like 15 of us. And I have a little computer monitor because, again, we lost everything.
Right.
A little computer monitor with the DVR from the camera set up there. And we are just rolling the tape. And the one attorney wants me to go back 4 seconds. This attorney wants me to go. I'm like, oh my goodness. So then they want to go out into the manufacturing facility where it happened.
Yeah.
So they all put their little white suits on, right? The Tyvek, whatever.
Yeah.
We all go out there and they're in their little huddles of 3, 2 here. We're walking around and then they see the tool that actually started the fire. And it was like cats herding food. It was out of control. Snapping pictures. Don't touch it. You don't touch it.
Right.
I'm like, you guys are vultures.
Right.
Vultures. They're just trying to pass the buck to anybody they can.
Right.
Unreal experience. Like it was almost out of body to watch how this works. Because I want to say it was around $15 million, $17 million.
It's nothing cheap. It's nothing to sneeze at.
No. Yeah. And business interruption insurance is a large portion of that.
Sure.
Right? You're paying people. All our employees were at home, but they're getting paid until we can rebuild and bring in new equipment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we burnt to the ground. All that to say, we burnt to the ground. 2014, we moved to Batavia. And at that point, the owner, who was mostly absentee, kind of was able to separate himself from the business. It wasn't his baby.
His anymore.
It wasn't his baby anymore.
Yeah,
the
that makes
machines
sense.
were different. They weren't the machines he bought. The floor space was different. It wasn't the building that he bought in 1976. And this was his baby. And so it became more achievable for us to purchase it. Also, what also helped, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, having new equipment that was replaced by insurance has a value that's easier to take a loan on than a 25-year-old machine that still works great, but it has no real value to loan to a 30-year-old guy, right? So that did help a little bit too.
Yeah.
So we bought the company in 2015, me and my 2 business partner, Roger and Jim.
Okay.
And it was phenomenal. It was great.
Yeah.
Really, really good experience.
And then there's a reason to build it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Then there's
Yeah.
a reason to go guns blazing,
And we
put
had,
in the effort, do all the stuff.
we had a phenomenal team around us.
Okay.
Like just an amazing team, from my partners all the way down to the shipping guy, right?
Yeah.
And so we just had a great team, and we continue to build on it, and we're able to grow the business. We had great equipment,
Mhm.
a lot of Anka CNC equipment, 5-axis tool grinding equipment. Loved it, and just really enjoyed growing that business and working in the business. Partner, but working in the business every day,
Yeah.
you know.
And then you grew it to a certain point.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, we had a couple opportunities to sell it, but we're never really interested until the last one came around. And I think the timing was right.
Mm.
We had been able to pay off a lot of debt,
Mhm.
so we weren't carrying a whole ton of debt. And I think I had young kids, and I think we were all just kind of ready to do something else.
Yeah.
And the timing was right. So we did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't, again, it's not like you. It's not like my dad grew that business.
Sure.
Right? It's a different thing. But
But-
it was very difficult to work in the business post sale.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So you guys find a suitor that you accept,
Mm-hmm.
right, to sell the business to.
Mhm.
What was that transition like from it being your business to being somebody else's business, and having them come in and change some of the stuff that you guys worked so hard to put in place? And did they change things right away?
Yes. Yeah, right away.
Mm.
Literally the same day. But we knew it. We sold to a company called GWS Tool Group. They were growing by acquisition.
Okay.
And it was known. There had been 8 or 9 acquisitions prior to us. So there was a roadmap already, right?
Okay.
I could talk to any of the owners of those businesses.
Yeah.
And they didn't pull any punches. They were very honest with us. They were a very young executive team, very aggressive, and they never like pulled the wool over our eyes or anything.
Yeah.
Like
Did they give
were
you
very
red
honest.
flags?
What do you mean?
Like, were they saying like, this was a mistake, watch out for this, I wish we wouldn't have done that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But more so just confirming the roadmap that GWS
Sure.
was giving us for the couple months pre-sale, and then the next 6 months
Got
post-sale.
it.
So that was most of it. If I'm asking you about your boss, and yet I have no skin in the game, how are you going to really answer?
Sure.
Right. So those weren't even the questions that I personally was asking. It was more about,
what's this going to look like?
what does this look like? How did you deal? Is this how it'll go for you? So, and most of that was, they never pulled the wool over our eyes about any of it.
That's great.
But it's definitely, from one day owning the business, the next day having a boss is very difficult, very difficult. And I knew it going into it. There was a certain point where I told them I'm not going to be part of the company post sale, right? I'll do a transition period, but I don't want any. And I said, it would be like having a child.
Yeah.
I had this child. And even though we bought the company,
Sure,
that space and that business at that point had a lot to do with the team that was there. So I had this child. I raised it for 6 or 7 years. I put it up for adoption.
Yeah.
But then I moved next door and watched it grow up.
Mm.
Didn't want to do that. Had no desire to do that.
Because then you have no say in it.
No, and things are changing.
Yeah.
And I bring emotion to work with me.
Yeah.
Right. And so
You bring emotion to everything.
yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is it good? I don't know.
I think it's good.
I don't know. But I do. So that just wasn't in me. It just wasn't what I wanted to do. It didn't give me any excitement.
So before you guys sold, you already knew, like, I'll do a transition period, but I'm not gonna be able to work here long term. What was your transition period?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months exactly. Yeah. There was a short period where they offered me a role within the company that I considered taking it, but within a couple months. And again, I really enjoyed the executive team. Like,
Sure.
I'm still friends with them. I just went down to Florida to visit one of them, spent a couple of days with them. Like, I really enjoyed them. Sharp, everything. It's just not where I was at in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
I
so
got it.
not what I was passionate about doing.
Yeah.
And so I didn't think that I'd have put the full effort in. And,
Yeah.
And if you know anything about me, that's if I can't go 100% at it, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
Like,
Not interested.
it's really hard to
Yeah.
not. So yeah, it was a 6-month transition and a lot of projects along those 6 months, but I enjoyed it. It was fine, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. Right?
Yeah.
So you can deal with a lot when you kind of have an end game, an end point.
Right.
So
No, it's interesting. I feel like very seldom do I hear somebody say, we agreed to sell the business to this company and it's way better than it was before.
yeah. Yep. But that's because it's different.
Yeah.
And you're working there because you enjoy the environment that you're in, but that environment will change. It will change. I've been through, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 or 4 buyouts.
Really?
Yeah. For companies I work for my dad's company,
Sure.
for the company I sold. So there's always change. They can say there's not going to be any change, but there's going to be change. There's always change.
Well, of course there's change, right? And it makes sense because you get people that come in that are corporate advisors and they're this or that or the other thing. And they look at it and they go, well, we don't need this person and this person. We just need this person.
Yep.
And what's going on with your sales numbers?
Yep.
Why aren't they where they need to be? Like, we projected this.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't they there? Well, there's an election coming up. Don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Like,
yep. Yeah. GWS was great. Again, I have no qualms about how it went down or anything like that. I'm not saying I would have taken it over and done the same things, but they didn't pull any punches or anything like that. And so yeah, this is what it is. Kind of is what it is. How many people are watching us right now?
Not that many, but that's
4?
great. That's great. It's something like that. It changes based on which thing I look at.
Oh.
Chad, do you know Chad Fergan? Chad Fergan is watching us from South Dakota.
Okay.
And he said, America is what America makes. Let's go.
Love it.
I agree, right?
I mean,
let's
go.
That's what we're doing here, right? We want to keep building and making and keeping manufacturing going and doing awesome things.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Kramer from Exact Metal. He's an additive manufacturing guy. I love Scott. Scott's going to be on the podcast soon. We have to get the dates ironed out, but it'll be a return. The last time was ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun. He says, amen, bring back the apprenticeship programs.
Yeah.
We got to do it, right? We have to keep these young kids interested in what it is that we're doing and why we're doing it.
Absolutely.
So
what about, hold on.
Yeah.
And like apprenticeship programs, what about summer programs? Just summer programs for high school kids where obviously, okay, if you have 60 employees, Tony,
sure,
you can't bring in 50 kids, but
no,
you bring in 5 kids for a month and a half period where they come in a couple days a week and can learn about what they're doing. I don't know how insurance will deal with having high schoolers out on the shop floor, all of that. But even like programs like that, where in the summer, even younger, middle school, heck, my son Jackson just did a programming class in 7th grade. It was phenomenal. I loved it. Not that it's the programming that I did, but it had the same principles.
What was the program?
Like,
what did they do? Yeah. That Jackson did.
It was a class at school. It was just a computer programming class.
Okay.
Make the flour do this. So it was something like that. But the principles are the same to how we program. If you like G&M, go to CNC machine, right?
Sure.
All the same, similar principles. So it was easy for me to quickly catch up to where he was at. And he was loving it. It was phenomenal to see him play with it and tried, what if we did this, Dad? But like programs like that, where it doesn't even have to be a full-on apprenticeship, just give people a taste of what the industry is like. Not even just manufacturing. If you want to be an accountant, why can't you go to an accounting firm?
Job shadowing, basically.
Right.
Just learning
in the
on
summers,
on the fly what that looks like.
Yeah.
I think
even if they pay them $15 an hour to come in and work 3 or 4 hours and learn about it, do data entry, whatever. Right. Kids are better at it than we are nowadays.
Totally.
They'll probably sit down in front of an accountant and enter the stuff or in half the time.
Yes.
So
Well, they grow up typing
yes.
and doing all the things.
Yes.
It's a totally different thing. I know that McHenry County does the manufacturing consortium. So they take students and they have a number of students and they have a number of companies that are willing to have these students come in, and then they rotate the students through the manufacturing companies.
Awesome.
So they work there for like, I don't know, a month. I don't know the exact numbers, but we talked about it on the show one time. But they work through
What age?
High school.
High school. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so like it's everywhere. I believe it's McHenry County. And so there are some really large manufacturers and companies that bring these kids in. They let them work there for a month, and then they rotate to the next company, and then they get the next batch of students so that they can keep figuring out what that looks like and how to do it. And then it continues to grow your experience, and you get to see all the different things, and you get to see what you like in a business and what you don't like in a business, and what you should look for in an employer and what you don't want to look for in an employer. And it just keeps all of that fresh.
And even to the point where you say, I don't want to do manufacturing.
Yeah, totally.
I don't want to be in plastics. I don't want to be in cutting tools. I don't want to be in machining. Great.
Yeah.
Guess what? We figured out that in 10 years, when you have a family and kids and responsibilities and bills, if you're doing this, you won't be happy.
Right.
That's phenomenal.
You want to get out of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just eliminated a variable for you in your life.
Totally.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I just think we just need to push more for those type things. Right. That's the way we're going to keep the ship floating.
I think so. And I do see a little bit of a bounce back. Like you walk through,
me too.
You walk through here specifically, the laser development center that we're at, and we got a lot of young guys here. What the challenge becomes is when you look at mold making and mold repair, that's a much more difficult thing to bring in an apprentice for, especially when you're looking at like mold repair or hot runner repair, because you have to already know the industry to know what's broken. And so that's an area where I feel like there's a definite barrier to entry. But I mean, honestly, here we've got how many? 1, 2, 3. There's 3 kids from our church that are working here. They're
awesome.
21 and younger. Louis is 26 and he's running our division to build machines. Steve Elrod is running our production welding department. He's under 30 years old. One of our lead engineers is 30 plus.
Awesome.
I mean,
I wouldn't sell the company either.
No, we got a nice young core group of people.
Phenomenal.
And it's allowing us the opportunity to, like, the things that I love, right? I don't know how to manufacture anything. I really don't.
You know more than you let on. It's just like your golf game, bro. You talk crap about how you golf and then you go out and you kick my ass. That's what happens, right? I see how you work it. I understand. You don't want to let people know how much you know.
When it comes to manufacturing things, nobody would call me a laser welder. Nobody would call me a polisher. I did that. I don't know anything about mold repair. I try and talk with Mike Zender and just hear him out and discuss different things with him, but it's not my strength. My strength is, I think my strength is people and working with people.
Absolutely.
And so we have an outstanding young core of
That's
people.
awesome.
It's
phenomenal.
I feel like we are the Blackhawks the years before they won the Stanley Cup, right? Like awesome core, good leaders developing into their roles and who they are as people. And dude, just
how
watching
exciting
them.
is that?
It's amazing, right?
That's how
it's very, very exciting to see that.
Yeah.
The hope is you can keep the dynasty going, right?
Of course.
You don't win a couple Stanley Cups and then crash and burn. Nobody wants that.
No.
But that's here in the Crystal Lake Prairie Grove facility. We have some youth in Wakanda as well. But again, it's hard to find the youth with those people that already know the things. And it's hard to train somebody on how to do mold repair.
Mhm.
on how to even know what to look for. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Mhm.
We've started them out. Mike Zender runs our mold maintenance and repair department in Wakanda, and his son now works with us, which is fantastic. He's Jack's age. I've known Harrison since he was in kindergarten because
Awesome.
Jack and Harrison were in scouts together, and I got to be
Cool.
the scout leader. So I've known Mike forever, and I've known Harrison forever. So just having him in the shop
Mhm.
is just so cool, right?
Yeah,
Another
heck yeah.
guy from church. He's a laser welder with us, and it's awesome to have him there. It's
Yep.
awesome to see him growing and doing things. One of our drivers is also from church. I've known him forever, right?
Yep.
For 10 years. And
Awesome.
what's really cool about all of those things is I already have a relationship with them. I know who they are, and I know what to expect from them. They know what to expect from me.
Yep.
And so it's an easy conversation.
Mhm.
If it's a difficult conversation,
Mhm.
it's not just a boss, an employer, and an employee.
Mhm.
We're able to have a relationship with each other, and so all that to say, I think it's really cool when
Yeah.
when people want to come work with you and for you.
Yep. Absolutely. I feel like I'm not looking at the camera a lot,
That's
but
fine.
it's because when I look over there, I just see myself, and
Yeah, it's
like,
weird to see
"Ugh."
yourself, right? And then
Yeah.
you see like
No, I don't want to. I don't
where
want to.
you're looking,
I'm
what
sure
are your
they're
eyes
just seeing
doing.
my bald spot right now.
Like
'cause
I
I'm
cross
staring
my
at
legs
you,
and I
but
see this gap here, and that's
yeah,
weird. So
weird.
like I just called attention to it. So that's
Yeah.
that'll be the thing.
Now everybody's
That'll be the
staring
thing
at
that
it, right?
Jack edits
Yeah.
and puts there.
Yeah. Little emoji.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
little
I
happy
like it.
face.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think what's really cool, like we can go back to um that other question about corporate America and what does it look like
Mm-hmm.
to run a business as a whole, right? Like I feel like in that position you have a greater responsibility, right, to lead well.
Yep. Yeah. 100%.
When you look at leading, what is it? Where do you get your inspiration, motivation for the way you lead?
I don't know. Well, I'm not. I didn't go to college. No college education. I've been very blessed and very very fortunate
Sure.
in my career. So leading wasn't a trained thing, and I would say that half the time I probably didn't do it well.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But I think intentions do matter.
Yep.
I think when people know your intentions, I think that matters. But I don't know that I'm one to speak on leadership, right?
Mhm.
Like I'm not a talking head. I'm here to talk to my friend, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess that question doesn't sit well with me. But I think that I would say that I attempt to lead people with compassion and understanding,
Mhm.
but also driving and pushing for the goals that are set forth for the
Sure.
company, right? And so um, I've always been more of an operational technical guy. Um, I don't want to say I was thrown into leading because I enjoy managing, I enjoy people.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'm the person that needs to be.
Sure. No,
If
that's
that
fair.
makes any sense.
That's
and I
totally
also think,
fair.
like for me in business, right? Um, as I'm running Standard Cutting Solutions, I think a good vendor, a good partner in the industry is one that is not afraid to say, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. I'll get the answer for you though.
Yep.
I will dig into it.
Yep.
I have resources available to me, but to just kind of BS and spout out an answer because I'm on a podcast with a camera staring at me.
Yeah,
It's just
no.
not me. That's not my thing. So
Yeah.
but I think that in business, that's a good thing to have, is just to say, I don't know. I don't know.
No, I think that's
I do
fair.
my best at it. That's it.
I think that's 100% fair, and it's better than, like you said, giving some BS answer
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
some jackass asked you the question.
Mhm. Did you like my text yesterday about how I was going to start the podcast?
I did. Yeah, and I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of who we are.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Right.
You know,
So I sent Tony a text yesterday because I was like, I get excited to sit and talk to you, right?
yeah.
But I get anxiety about the actual doing it. Like when I walked in here 2 hours ago and we sat down and you showed me the setup, I was sweating, bro. I mean, you could have probably would have thought I was swimming. It just gives me anxiety. So I sent you a text saying that I was going to start off by saying, listen, I've been in manufacturing my whole life. I love Jesus.
Yeah.
But I cuss a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's me just trying to break it, you know.
Yeah,
like,
totally. And I think that's the beautiful thing is like we're all individually wired differently.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And
100%.
you know, there's a book that I think we're going to go through as a team here. The team doesn't totally know this yet. So if you're
they're not watching.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
If you're part of the leadership team, here's a spoiler alert. We're probably going to read a book together called The Servant.
Oh.
And it's about leadership. Greg Eidenberger gave that book to me originally from I can't remember the company now. It is gone. That's gone out of my brain. But
happens.
Greg gave me the book, and he told me that it is mandatory reading for anybody at the company that wants to be in a leadership position. And
Awesome.
he told me that he read the book probably 10 times over the course of his life at different seasons in his life, as a newly married man, as a father, as a grandfather, as a leader. And each time it spoke to him in different ways on what leadership looks like and how to do that. And
isn't it funny when you read or see something based on the season of life or the season in your business that you're in, how it impacts you differently?
Totally.
It's so weird, so strange, but I love it.
It's great. So yeah, I think we're gonna look at that book, because that book was really inspirational to me, and it opened my eyes to some certain things. You know, the idea of do you want to be loved or feared as a leader? Like, which one? Right? They can both get results.
Right.
What does that look like? And some of those kinds of concepts, and how are you leading other people underneath your care, and what does that look like, and where are those models coming from, and what does that look like? And it's good. I like that topic, and
That's
just
awesome.
trying to dig into.
So here's this leads me to a question for you. I've asked you already today. How do you do everything that you do? You are so active in your business. You're traveling. Tons of trade shows. You give back so much from the golf outing to building bikes at an already stressful IMTS. Right. You have a beautiful booth with equipment there, and a dozen people working the booth.
We had
something like that.
People,
and yet at the same time, you are building bikes for kids that don't have bikes. Right. You're working at our church multiple nights a week. Right. We became friends mostly when my son was in Awanas and you were his leader. Like, I still have a picture somewhere. I'll post it on LinkedIn. I'm going to post it on LinkedIn of Jack sitting on your lap. Dude, he had hair like you, the curly hair. And there was a period, it was a shorter period, a couple months, where he would ask us if Tony's going to be there. And if Tony wasn't going to be there, he wouldn't go to Awanas. Like, that's how much he had like that. And obviously, so you're doing all of this stuff. How do you do it all? Where do you find the time, the energy, the drive, and you do it all with a lot of excitement?
First, I'll say I appreciate that. I would say I genuinely enjoy it, and I like the people. So I think that I am surrounding myself, like you said before, right? I'm surrounding myself with quality, skillful people who are able to help me accomplish the goals that we need to accomplish together. And so I'm trying to get better at delegating. It's hard for me sometimes to delegate, because I called my mom this one time, like an imperfect perfectionist. I know how I want it. I don't always know how to get it there. But I think a lot of it comes from I have a very understanding wife.
For sure.
And
wives, if you're watching, we talked about this at lunch.
We did
we not?
Yes.
How blessed we are to have the wives that we have.
100%.
That we're allowed to go out and grow businesses and do the things we need to do. And there's no animosity, no worry,
no jealousy, no worry, no stress.
Support, all the support. So So wives, if you're watching this, my wife probably tuned out already. It's boring stuff.
But I think, I like coming to work. I don't play video games or anything like that. This is my video game, right? Like I want the high score. I want the high score as far as numbers in the bank and lives changed at work.
Yep.
And I look at it as an opportunity to help people learn how to lead well, and not just at work, but how to lead lives. I'm not saying I'm the greatest person.
Yeah, no.
But I think our goal and our responsibility as business owners is not just to make parts, but it's to make better humans.
Yeah, for sure.
And lead them in a way that makes them better at every part of their day. And so like when I ask about leadership, like it's a huge concept to me. So every opportunity we go out is an opportunity to live like Jesus.
Yeah, for sure.
Every opportunity we show up to work is an opportunity to live like Jesus. Every opportunity that we have at a trade show is an opportunity to live like Jesus. And you don't have to say the words all the time, but for people to say, what's different?
Yeah. So that, like, that's my point. Like, you're at an IMTS, which is a massive expense for you.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Revolved around the entertaining, the setup of the booth, the managing customers. But yet you find the ability to say, you know what I'm going to do the week before? I'm going to find a bike manufacturer who's going to
Guardian Bikes. Thank you for the bikes. Before I forget, they went to 2 different organizations in the city of Chicago, and those organizations, one of them was a church, one of them was another church-centered group, and they gave those bikes away. So thank you, Guardian Bikes.
So how do you say, I'm going to put more on my plate for this week?
Yeah.
Because when I look at it, I look at something like that trade show where I strip down my life for 2 or 3 weeks. I am like, no, I can't take Jack to baseball. No, I won't be at church. No, I have to focus on preparing for this and being right for this. But yet you're saying, you know what? I want this all to be nice. But if it's perfect, if it's not perfect, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because we're going to do these bikes.
Yeah.
We're going to sit here and build bikes at the show where we're out selling our equipment.
Yeah.
Where do you get that drive, right?
I think so. The way it all started, not necessarily with the bikes, but the whole concept, it goes back to MD&M West. It was MD&M West. I was walking in and I had this idea that there's 10,000 people that are going to walk through these doors, right? And we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about our stuff, and everybody's got the same story. And
business card.
Here's my business card, and here's this thing, and it doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't matter. Like we might sell 1 or 2 machines, that'll be fantastic, but in the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't matter, right? Like Ecclesiastes, it's all worthless if it doesn't have the right purpose behind it. And so I had this thought in my brain that if there's going to be 100,000 people or 10,000 people or whatever that looks like that walks through a trade show, what if you can get 2% of those people to stop what they're doing and give you 1 hour to give back in some way to the community and what's happening? What can you do with that? Like, how can you change things? How can you make an impact statement on the manufacturing industry as a whole? Like you go to Anaheim, California, and you can get 100 people to give an hour of their time. What can you do in their community that says manufacturing actually gives a rip?
Yeah.
And so do we, and make a positive impact. And so we played with that idea. We called it our E210 initiative based on Ephesians 2:10. And so now every trade show or conference we go to, part of our goal is to find some way to give back to the community, because we think it's important. And it's important to give back. And I think that most people want to be part of something bigger. And most people are wanting to help out in some sort of way. They just don't have an opportunity, or they don't know how or what that would look like.
But you understand that that's like
it's a lot.
Different level. No, but it's a different level. It is a lot. That is my point. But it's a different level that your brain is working on.
Yeah.
Did you see any other booths doing anything as
No,
such? Like that's not the canned food drive at the office.
No,
right? That's not the coat drive at the church.
Right.
Like it's phenomenal. It's wonderful. It's really, really, it's something special. It's something different. And I think that things like that are going to make a big impact, right? And
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. But
Well,
I still don't know how you do it all. I just it makes no sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense.
I've had a lot of people say that. I think,
but I mean it.
Yeah, no, I know. And I think most times those people mean the same thing. I think the difference is, like, again, at the trade show. How can I do that at the trade show? I can do that at the trade show because I trust John and Dave and Michelle and Scott and Jeremy and Doug and Vanessa to all do what they're at the trade show to do, right? Like, we bring people in. The bikes help bring people in because they have questions. And I steer the conversation to my team member that I want to have that conversation. So if it's a question about laser welding machines, I'm happy to start the conversation. But I also know that John Massert is really good at what he does. And he needs to have this conversation with them so he can move the ball forward. And so I can do the things that I can do because I have people that are doing the things that they can do. And I think that what I'm trying to get better at is to do the things that only I can do and let the people around me do the things that they can do. And so when we have the bikes or getting ready for the bikes, like Vanessa did an amazing job of handling the logistics for IMTS, right? To make sure that we had the space, to make sure that we had the electric, to make sure that we knew what was going on when things were being delivered, get all that organized, right? So I get credit for it, but she did all the legwork.
100%.
The guys, Louie and Caleb and Cody and all the guys loaded up the trucks. Kevin, they took everything down there. They started getting the floor plan laid out. I went down and helped them, but they started that process, right? So again, I get to be the face, but I have a team of people behind me that I trust 100% to do what they're doing so that I can do what I need to do, right? So then somebody comes in and they want to build a bike. Well, I have time to build a bike with them and then tell the story about why we're building the bikes, what that means to us as a company, what it means to the community, what it means to Guardian Bikes, what it means to the kids that are going to get the bikes. And so I really think it's all a matter of trusting the people around you and allowing them to do what they're going to do and not micromanaging all the stuff. Because then, no, I can't do all the stuff. We were joking about it today. Like, Jessica was telling me that I need a to-do list because I forget to do things because there's a lot of things, right? But I think my partners have a lot of things too. And their things are like jobs coming in, right? And so we all have our part to do what we need to do. And I find passion in doing all those kinds of things, whether it's here, whether it's at the trade shows, whether it's at church. I love being able to do those things and pour into people in that way. So for me, it's not work. I enjoy.
Well, it
doing all that
shows.
stuff.
It does show.
Thank you.
It does show.
Thank you. Dude, this is almost 2 hours right now.
No.
You know, yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. You want to do 5 questions?
I guess.
All right, here we go. Question number 1.
Go.
If you could make one rule that everyone had to follow, what would that rule be?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, these are the fun ones.
One rule that everybody had to follow.
Yeah.
Let's go with the left lane is for passing, and then you get back into the right lane.
I like that. Yeah.
Don't do 35 and a 45 in the left lane.
Oh. Floors you.
Blows my mind, bro.
I like that.
Okay.
That's good. That's a good answer. Question number 2. There we go. If you could have dinner with any 3 characters from a book or a movie, who would they be?
Oh, wow. I have no idea. Can I just do people?
Sure.
Famous people?
Yeah. There's a biography about them somewhere.
There is.
That counts.
Yeah. They just all won't be probably in the same.
That makes it better.
Yeah, right. I would do Elon Musk.
Okay.
I think he's something special for our generation.
Yep. And he'd probably pick up the tab.
Yeah. Yes, he probably would. He's not a Nazi. I'm just saying that. Had a couple of those conversations this week or last week.
That's fun.
Oh my gosh. Probably Elon Musk. Tom Brady,
Okay.
somebody that's just that level goat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the third. I don't have one.
All right. Well, what?
But I like those high level guys,
Yeah.
but they seem down to earth.
Yeah.
Those are the people that I like
Yeah.
to like bounce stuff off of, right?
Yeah.
And I think our industry, like manufacturing, is awesome at that. Like,
Right.
we have these guys that are blue
Top level.
collar, but down to earth, can have any conversation, but
Yep.
they're as smart as they come.
Yep.
And so much fun. So
Yep.
those are the type of guys that I would put at the table.
No, I love that. I think that's great. And it's like that, those same kind of people, right? Like, you could add Kobe to that list,
Yes,
or but he's dead.
Yeah.
Jordan,
Right,
or
yeah.
like something like
And that's in
the
my head,
most
what was-
amazing people, right? Like, I don't think I'd want to have dinner with him necessarily, but like David Goggins kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like, I would love to just spend time
Mhm.
with
Would
him
you,
and here.
would you do a workout with him?
I
Like a 1 hour? Is there
yeah.
a time limit?
I
Like,
think I
it'll give
would.
me-
I think I would like to, just to see if I can withstand what he wants to put me through.
Yeah, I could see that in you.
I'm stupid
Yeah.
like that. I think
Yeah.
like one of the students in Nexus, he went to the Navy, and he was talking about boot camp, and I was like, "Is it amazing?
Mhm.
Like, the workouts seem like
Yeah.
fun. Like, I don't want to live there.
Yep.
I don't want to eat their food.
Yep.
I don't want to have somebody yelling at me. But I think the workouts, I like. I would like to try those challenges. Like, there's a guy, Chad Wright. Have you heard of Chad Wright?
No.
He's an extreme runner,
Okay.
ultra runner,
Yeah.
amazing faith journey, life transformation story. Really cool guy. Same kind of thing. Like that mentality is just so strong. Question 3. What are you proud of that you never get a chance to talk about?
Oh, jeez.
These are good ones, aren't they? These are the
Man,
hard ones.
what
You didn't
am I-
realize that you had to stick around to the end
What
to get the hard
am
questions.
I proud of that you never. I mean, I get it. Okay, so if there's people that are watching that don't know me, this would be, I am high school sweethearts with my wife.
That's awesome.
She was a freshman. I think she was 15 at the time. I was a junior when we met.
Okay.
We've been
Don't say your age. It's fine.
no. So we've been together. We've been married 21 years and together for 26 now.
Okay.
Jordan, I'm sorry if I'm off by a
It's
year.
got to be
I've got
close.
a camera on me right now.
I give him credit.
So to me, that's something that I would say I'm extremely proud of.
Yeah.
And not that our marriage doesn't take work, but we're happy as ever and enjoying life and raising children. And so I'd say that that's probably one of the things.
That's amazing. Question 4. If you could have any animal sidekick, what would it be and why?
Any animal sidekick.
Yes.
We have no pets in our house.
Yeah, and me neither.
So we want a dog, but we're not going to buy a dog. Any animal.
Who wants the dog?
All of us technically do.
Okay.
But I don't want the responsibility of a
Yeah,
dog. We're
totally.
traveling for baseball and work and all this. And
You don't want
kids
to clean
are
up the
allergic.
crap.
Yeah.
No.
No, can't do it.
The hair, the dog hair.
Yeah.
I understand that people are dog.
Yeah.
Are pet
I
people.
enjoy dogs.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
But I don't like that part of
Yeah,
it.
I tell everybody I love the idea of a
Mhm.
dog.
Yep.
I don't like the reality of a
When
dog.
Jordan and I had a boxer up
Okay.
until Delaney was born, a toddler area, and we had to put him down. And we loved that dog.
Yeah.
I've had friends and family pass away over the years. I never cried like I cried when I lost that dog. I was at work crying. It would just like hit me. Like it was out of control.
You need better friends and family in your life, brother.
No. It was that stinking dog goes through so much in life with you. They're
Sure.
always there, right?
Yeah.
Like hard times. The dog is sitting next to me and my wife. And,
Yeah.
like they know that stuff. So I'm thinking something like the lion we were discussing
yeah.
here. Just strong, powerful.
Yeah.
So many different avenues, protector,
Yeah.
caretaker. So it's probably something like that.
Yeah. Lion is easily my favorite animal, and I'm really upset because my family won't let me get one. I think I should be able to. I don't ask for much.
Uh-huh.
I think a lion is not off limits.
We got
That's
all
what
the
I'm saying.
space in here, bro.
It could live here.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
Mhm.
How long would you last in the Hunger Games?
Okay, so I think I understand the premise of it, but I've never
Yeah,
seen it.
yeah.
It's just just a lot of competition.
No, so they draft everybody. So like the Hunger Games is it's a dystopian society
Mhm.
where the richest rich take advantage of the poorest poor.
Oh,
And so each district has to nominate somebody to go fight in the Hunger Games because the rich people want to watch them die. And so there are 12 or 15 competitors that come together, and it's a fight to the death. I don't think you win anything, or maybe your district gets some money or some food or something,
okay.
but it's a fight to the death.
So like roughly a dozen guys with
People could be
People?
children.
Oh,
Yeah.
oof.
There's no guarantee that it's another
Ooh.
burly man with a nice
I don't
beard.
know. I don't know.
You could have to fight a
like
6-year-old.
I would be good. I would be good with saying I could make it pretty stinking far
Mm-hmm.
if it was all men. But if I have to go beat a little girl, like
Yeah,
an 8-year-old girl, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So I would lose. So
Yeah.
something would have to
Yeah.
give, because I can't.
Even
do
if
that.
she's going to try and kill you,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't
just
think
go
I
just
don't
go
know.
die.
I would have real. I don't know. But if you put me in a
Cage.
cage with
Yeah.
12 men,
Yeah.
I would love that.
Oh, you would love that.
Oh yeah, baby, let's do it. Let's go. I'll leave it at that. I would love it.
All right. So Rich wants to get into UFC and fight
I may have used to have trained
12 men at one time.
Let's go.
Who wants to see that? I think we could sell tickets.
Let's do it.
I mean,
I'm in.
IMTS.
I love it. Love it. At the IMTS, yeah.
We'll do a show.
Yeah.
We used to have a guy working for us. He said he was an ex-Marine. I'm not going to name his name. Everybody will know who I'm talking about. If you know, you know, right? That's what they say. He used to say that there wasn't a woman in this world that he couldn't beat up. And he also, like in a fight, like not just because he didn't like them, in a fight. And he also said that he could fight a bear and win.
Okay.
I if I had money, this was back in the day. If I had money, I wished I could hire like Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, right.
To just come in and just like put on a fight in the shop
and
see what that would have turned into.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. He was a weird dude.
Yeah.
But
what are you gonna do?
I don't know. You know, fun fact about me, I've never been in a real fight.
Wow.
Yeah, hockey fight, but that doesn't count. You got a helmet on, you got gloves.
True. But you're on skates, so it adds to the difficulty.
Yeah. But yeah, I've never been in a real fight. There was one time in grade school, like 4th grade, where I used to watch wrestling all the time, WWF wrestling, back when it was WWF, not WWE. And I got in a fight with one guy, and all the people were there, cheering, and we're fighting, and I body slammed the guy and I pinned him because I thought that's how you win a fight. And in the meantime, one of my buddies really got rocked, like somebody knocked him in the face, and like I was like, I win.
Yeah.
Like I thought that's what a fight was, and it wasn't. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not my bag. It's not my jam. I would rather build bikes.
It's phenomenal. It's good.
I would rather build bikes
I'm
than
not
somebody
going out
punch me in
and
the face.
looking for fights.
Yeah.
Just if I was in the Hunger Games, I'd be all right if it was all men.
Well, that's 5 questions, and that is, I think that went well. How was your first podcast experience?
I'm still sweating.
You're still sweating?
Yeah.
Am I gonna have to like shampoo that chair
Yes,
down
probably.
or what?
You might have to just buy a new one. You might just load it in my car. Yeah. Yeah, it's the whole camera thing. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much.
Good. A couple of reminders. I know what we forgot. So I will put this up there and then we'll do our reminders. Hold on. Rich, while I'm looking for this, how do people get in touch with you for your products and the things that you're doing?
Standard Cutting Solutions. We're out in Elgin. We're in downtown Elgin. You can hit standardcutting.com. You can email sales at Standard Cutting, Rich at Standard Cutting, any of those ways. And we're actively in a sales push right now. We're looking for customers to partner with and support with mainly industrial cutting tools, carbide industrial cutting tools, anything from standards that we keep on the shelf to specials. But we're also starting to distribute other products like rubber gloves and
Sure.
paper towels.
Sure.
And we sell Miditoyo inspection equipment, Ansel, all kinds of stuff.
All that's on the website,
a bunch of it's on the website, but
or it will be soon.
It will be soon. A lot of it will be soon. But
Yeah.
we're a industrial distributor, but we just work more with smaller businesses where we're working to solve their problems as opposed to just selling them a product, right?
Yeah.
So more holistic approach to going in and assisting them with either their machining issues, their inventory issues.
Yep.
If they're having inventory issues, acquiring it, cost issues can
Yep.
be common, obviously. Performance. So we just look at it from a full picture. We're an honest company. We go in and we try and solve their problem and give them a good deal and put it on the shelf.
It's great. Well, there you go. That's how you get a hold of Rich.
Yep.
Last thing we need to do is pray, because I think that's really, really important. And it's my show, so I get to do it.
Love it.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this time with my friend. Thank you for the way that he has motivated me in different ways and inspired me. And I just thank you that you give us this platform to talk to other people, as crazy as it is, through an internet that we can't necessarily see other people. And I just pray that the people that were able to listen and watch, that maybe we made them laugh a little bit, maybe we made them think a little bit, maybe we led them a little bit more towards you. And I just ask that you be with us and anybody that had the ability to listen, watch, ever. And pray this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope to see you at MDNM West. Remember, the promo code is free20 if you would like to get in for free and have 20% off on the conference. Take a look at the MR Mold golf outing. Let us know if you need anything. We're here to help you. If you'd like to be a part of the show, send us a comment, put a comment in the chat, send us a message at Tony@AllianceLaserSales.com. Or just on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever that looks like. And I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you thought it was a little bit enjoyable. If you did, pass it on to a friend. This is the only way that we keep manufacturing going, is by talking about it and continuing to grow it. So on behalf of myself and Alliance and Rich from SCS, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Take care.